You know what kind of scared me about turkey hunting after the stroke? Not to dive right into this, but shit, we might as well, you know? In C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters, it says that the way to get a man away from God is fill his head full of noise. When you have your ability to walk taken from you, you start to second guess your ability to do things, obviously. Paralysis does that. There's this constant thing playing in your head that you're going to hinder the hunt or you're going to ruin it. You're going to ruin it for somebody because a wild animal doesn't care that you had a stroke, you know? You don't care that you can't move as quietly and swiftly. Turkey hunting for me was a very big feat to get over that mental hold up in my head. As duck hunting, you can kind of get somebody to take you there and set you in a blind. You just got to kind of sit there and let them do. Turkey hunting, you know, the run and gun style, it's like, oh, the bird's over here. You know, the bird's over here. Let's get over here and set up, get set down. Well, I might take a little bit too long to sit down. So that got in my head kind of a screw tape letters in a way, got in my head of like, well, you'll never do that again. So that was turkey hunting. Turkey hunt was this inevitable feat. They're like, you got to be mobile, you got to be quiet, and you got to be still. Well, that's three things that the stroke took away from me. My ability to be still, my ability to be quiet because I'm dragging my left foot through the leaves, and the ability to be mobile and pivot. The old adage is if a turkey could smell, you'd never kill it, you know, and I believe that to be true. A non-gobbling turkey they're hard enough to kill when they're gobbling. So if they're not gobbling, if they're not talking, and you're trying to find ways to figure out how to get up on them, you're trying to be innovative, and you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about that bird in a rehabilitation sense. I'm always trying to get better since the stroke, since the setback or whatever you want to call it. The chance to get out there and walk and test myself and push myself to another limit is like, oh, I can do that. Break sticks and clop along in the woods and scare birds and miss that. At least you're out there, you know, at least you're trying, because you're not thinking, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this. You're going, how can I do this? How can I get around that ridge and get on the backside of them? I don't care if I have to crawl through there or walk or run, whatever. That helps you heal because you're going to figure out a way to get back there. And I think thinking slowly through that the night before, the day before, looking at Onyx, looking at maps to try to figure out, like, that makes you a better hunter. You're better prepared as opposed to before the injury when I'd have just been like, all right, I'm going to depend on my athletic ability to go left, right. But the woods will meet you where you're at. It don't matter if you're going through a divorce, if you're going through chemo, it don't matter if you're going through PTSD, the woods will meet you where you're at. The turkey will meet you where you're at. You got to be in the right place at the right time. There's got to be a little luck in there, but that's what's beautiful about it, where you can sit up on a ridge on a deer and it'd be pretty predictable. There's nuances of all that. Turkey hunting, you got to meet that turkey where it's at. To be in the moment, for me, is to be pursuing joy. I think it's a big deal what we carry around in our pockets all day. And in that little black box is a whole world of possibilities. And the psychological warfare that I think that the world is under, it's not your granddaddy or great granddaddy's war anymore. It is the fact that we can be out there hunting and be in the moment of that kill, but your mind might be thinking, oh, I want to get this picture so I can post it on Instagram or post it on this thing. And then the dopamine rush doesn't come from the actual the pursuit of the animal. The dopamine rush comes from what Jake, Paul, or Sarah thinks about the kill. And you look and you get that rush through the comments or through the likes or through And I think that's a really dangerous place to be in life. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to share, and being an entertainer myself, I love to share and be on social media, and that's part of my brand and part of who I am. But I really love what hunting does to turn the noise down and turn it off. And I try my hardest every time I'm out there to listen for God, to listen for his direction, and to listen for the Spirit to tell me, when I'm trying to determine a lot of times where a bird is, or where a good spot, a good crossing, a good funnel is, I will listen and I'll say, show me where to go, Lord. Show me where. And I'll sit there and wait, and I might see a hawk fly to my right and a red bird fly to my left. And in my head, the red bird might appeal to me more. So I go the direction of the red bird. And I know that sounds a little hippy dippy or whatever, but like, that's the way the wood speaks to me. Like, do you want to go the way your gut feels? Well, I feel like that red bird, I feel like that was a sign to go over there, or I feel like that hawk is a sign to go over there. And so just listening to that stuff takes me out of that psychological warfare, because the woods don't lie. The woods are there, and you take them for what they are, and it's literal. It's right in front of you. Your eyes are being tested. Your muscles are being tested. Your legs, your ability to be quiet, your ability to use your senses, your eyes, your ears, everything. So it takes all of this cell phone, connection, a no service purpose to a real chill pill is what I wrote that in a song before. A no service purpose to a real chill pill. That's what hunting is for me. The Hunt's the Healing. I wrote a song called The Hurt's the Healing. And the Hunt's the Healing had always been a part. So we released our documentary earlier last year. And Michael Norris from Rite had seen that, and I went to SHOT Show in Las Vegas. And he walks up to me unsolicited. I didn't know Michael. He introduces himself, says him and his wife are big fans of my music and big fans of the story. And he had watched the documentary, The Ladder to the Sky. And he just started asking me about what I shot, what might help me. And he said, have you ever thought about a pistol grip? And I said, no, because he had seen my story. He had seen the need, and he had seen the impact that it might have on me and somebody else. I've shot a shotgun since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, till I was old enough. I mean, it's like an extension to my left arm, And then you have an injury, you have something that happens, and you think that there's only one way, because this is the way you were raised. And I found that sometimes hard times always create a necessity for great innovation. This gun comes along and it's got a pistol grip on it, which is pretty common out there right now, but I'd never shot one. So bring that 12 gauge down to a 20 gauge, and this pistol grip just changed my whole confidence. I try it, I go out there and kill 5 birds in 2 weeks, because I was able to be sturdy and stable, in this moment of when birds were coming in. It's like a light goes on. It's like, oh man, well, I'm gonna shoot ducks with this thing, It just kind of changed my mindset of like, man, if I wouldn't have had a stroke in those hard times, I would have never used a gun with a pistol grip. But man, it's something that was born out of necessity. I needed that, to give me a little bit of an edge or confidence. And so I guess my lesson in this was like, the things that, one of my favorite stories is Willie Nelson's favorite guitar player is a guy named Django. Well, Django lost his fingers, and so he only had 2 fingers that he chorded, but it made his guitar playing sound so unique and different, because he's chording with 2 fingers. And it's like a flamenco style, just Mexican, just really cool deal. And so I've always held that fact close, that no matter if you're limping, or no matter if you don't have use of your left arm, or no matter if you maybe not physically up there with Tarzan and everybody else is out there shooting a bow or shooting a thing, get out in the woods and listen to your body. Listen to what you need. Listen to the redbirds. Listen to the hawks. Listen to the things that turn the world off, and listen to the things that nature is telling you can get a little better if you think from an engineering standpoint how that pistol grip could help you grip that gun. With a turkey, where you have to be so still, and I could just lay that thing on my knee right there and hold it, and have my affected hand just kind of, that was a game changer. What you just said, the woods will give you what you want. You just got to listen for it. In this hunt with Nate and Spence and me, Spence said, and I called it, he said, "It's so quiet out here, you can hear the corn grow." But for me, flipping things that seem bad in the moment into things that are good has been a superpower that I've had to learn through injury, through life, through whatever. Well, turkey hunting, you may make a mistake on a bird, and the first bird of the morning coming off the roost and the sun's coming up, and you're kicking yourself, and then go to the next ridge and realize that the maker had something planned on that next ridge that would have never happened if he would have popped that turkey the first time. For this specific hunt, me and Nate and Spence, me and Nate have been friends for a while. We've always wanted to get out in the woods because just a spiritual connection there. We knew it would be special. Drive up from Nashville to Illinois. And, this specific hunt, it was not a hard hunt. The bird never stopped gobbling. It's gobbling. He's singing that love song, and here it comes. I mean, it happened pretty quick.
All right, I see them. See them right there to the right? Yeah. All right, here we go. Here they come. Here they come. Take the one on the left, all right?
The whole part of the birds just sitting right in front of us, that was the real intense part. And I'm waiting on one of them to get clear to where I can get a shot.
Tell me when. See that left one? Go ahead.
The shot gets took.
Boy, Drake White.
Yeah. We're all excited, high-fiving. Yes, sir, great shot, this and that. I'm going to St. Louis. I'm done by 7 o'clock. It's like the quintessential, yeah, man, we got plenty of time. Let's go this, that. And I felt this tug in my heart, like, we just made that happen pretty quick. Why don't you just sit here and bask and give thanks? Why don't you sit here and talk to each other and enjoy the fact that there's a bird harvested in the field. You can just sit here. And so I asked the guys, I asked Spence and Nate, I said, what if we just sat here? We just started having conversations, and we didn't know that Spence was going through what Spence was going through, and that we would help him, the guy behind us. And that's what you can do. Turkey hunting that's different than other types of hunting. Duck hunting is very similar in that respect, but like we're healing, we're helping Spence. Spence is helping us. We're talking to him, he's talking to us. And me and Nate had never been in that close proximity together and talk. I never really felt his heart or heard his heart. So answering that tug instead of just jumping out of the blind and being like, let's go get it and let's go back and blah, blah, blah. Answering that tug of, nope, pause. Well, that produced the coolest conversation of, man, it's all a hamster wheel of what's the next show? When's the next thing? When am I got to be in St. Louis this time because I'm playing there tonight, and I'm starting these shows with Riley Green. I'm doing all this and doing all that. Like right now, we got a turkey dead in the field, and we're gonna sit here. And while we were sitting there, Nate's like, he's showing us a song, and we're listening to a song, and a tom walks out, 10 yards from us. And it was almost like God was kind of winking at us, like, that's what hunting's about. That's what the woods are about. Like, choose to pause on the hamster wheel. To stop the hamster wheel, what do you got to do? You stop running. You stop running and get off of it. And we left that place better than we came, in the peace that filled our hearts with this war going on and all this stuff going on the news and the trigger, TikTokable, like quick thing, get it done, get it out there, get the picture, get the Instagram, get the psychological warfare, thing, get the dopamine rush, feed the monster. It just stopped for a minute. And that's what the stage does. That's what the woods do. That's what good camaraderie men, it's what time with brothers and sisters of the cloth, I call it. That's what the Spirit does. If you choose to listen to that tug. Oh, red bird flying left. Oh, hawk flying right. Up. Little tug at the heart. Stop just a minute. Give gratitude for that bird. Pray over that bird. Let's not jump out there and get the picture just yet. Let's sit here and enjoy this. And I think we formed a little moment there that was cool, super cool. And just pause a little bit. That was beautiful. I would encourage people to get out there, no matter your ability or your physical inability. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. You're out there, you're listening to birds, you're reacting, you're being a hunter, reacting to the sounds and speaking their language and trying to get in position. But it really humbled me to be out there and be successful after years of basically second guessing and thinking that I would look bad to my buddies in the turkey woods because I would ruin their chances at a wild turkey. That's why it's so important to tell these stories. My wife wouldn't have told me I needed to be vulnerable, and because vulnerability was hard to open it up and tell people this story that I was having a hard time and I was worried about hindering the hunt. Michael would have never came up. He would have never known that I needed anything, and he would have never approached me. So it's a full circle thing that, we're talking about a pistol grip, but we're talking about something much bigger. And the fact that there's always innovation, no matter what you're going through or what your physical or mental ailment is, there's always something. If you want to get in the woods are the true truth teller, They're gonna make you go a certain way, and you may fail 10 times, but that's okay because you're taking one step forward, 2 steps forward. There was a lot of lies I told myself that I defeated this year, and I'm proud of that. I've killed 5 birds. I've killed Indiana, Illinois, Tennessee, and it's been my best turkey hunting season ever because of the monotony of having to go slower, because a wild animal doesn't care, and that's what kind of levels everything out. The struggle in the hunt, it's always given me a really good peace, because how the hunt ends is always the way it's supposed to end. And I've witnessed some really, really great, doubles and even in Indiana, a triple. And that would have never happened if I would have killed the first turkey. If I would have been in a hurry and been like, man, and that appears to us as humans as struggle and as failure. And some of the best stuff in my life has happened right after I fell 2 or 3 times. And that's the beauty about the peace that comes with hunting and what the woods show you. The woods are the gospel. You know, your life there's no really such thing as failure in the woods. You go out there and you experience it, and you take what it gives you, and you go out there and you do the best you can. And that's really healing.